The standalone 4G solar kit is fairly self-explanatory, an all-in-one solution for remote locations. Setting the scene. So if you imagine there is a remote location and you need some surveillance, maybe for farms or remote roads, even maybe a chemical treatment facility, something remote. There's generally no connectivity to a hub, so wireless links won't work, or worse still, even a lack of power. This is where the solar power 4G camera steps in. So let's have a look at some more background for the introduction of the solution. Now with solar 4G solution, we can make surveillance possible where there is no cabling solution or power solution. The main features are fairly easy to understand. There's a solar panel, a camera, and a battery to store the power. Next, we'll have a look at the power management. So power management, we'll go through the capacity of the battery and the solar panel. We'll have a look at what the power consumption of the camera is. What are the ways to manage that power usage within the camera settings? We have a time-lapse video to show you the power consumption over a 12 to 24 hour period. And I'll show you how the power is shown in the display, and finally give you some ideas as to how long the battery will last based on different types of weather. So let's have a look at the solar panel itself. The solar panel is a 40-watt solar panel. This means that the charging consumption is 40 watts per hour, if we can get maximum sunshine. Or another way to look at it is that this can charge up to 40 watts per hour on clear sunny days. We'll take a look at this again later on in the presentation with a chart that shows the charging times based on weather conditions. The battery. The battery attached below the panel is a lithium 20 amp rechargeable battery. The battery has an operating temperature range of -5 degrees up to 60 degrees centigrade. Now, although in some remote parts of the country, the temperature will reach that frosty threshold, the fact is the device itself, because of the constant usage of the battery, the internal temperature will always remain above that threshold. With super battery insulation technology, this keeps the battery at an optimum operating temperature. 800 cycles. This refers to the amount of times the battery can be depleted and recharged. This is unlikely to happen as the battery in general operation shouldn't be drained completely. The device has the battery itself has a built-in black box. This monitors and logs the battery system events. If there's any issues, then the tech support team can remote into the battery with a special tool to diagnose any faults. The impedance tracking technology is there to accurately monitor the percentage of the battery remaining, and there are also low battery alarms. Now, what is the power consumption of the camera? Well, the camera is itself no ordinary IP camera, still a 2 megapixel camera with some advanced analytics. But we have introduced a specific low power chipset to support the application of solar power. The device has several power saving functions and a 4G module with a hidden antenna, so you can insert a SIM card for wireless transmission. So as per the slide, we have different consumption levels to accommodate the type of required surveillance. Full consumption mode and low consumption mode. These should be changed based on the level or amount of sunlight in the area. For example, in summertime, when the sun is out longer and brighter, you can engage full consumption mode. But in the winter, when it's dark, more than it's light, you can engage the low consumption mode. In the camera web page, you can change these settings to suit the environment better. Here's a chart to compare between the consumption modes. In full consumption mode, you have 2 megapixels, 25 frames per second, and a max bit rate of 4 megabits per second. However, when you switch to low power consumption mode, the image quality stays at 2 megapixel, but the images per second switches to 12.5, and the max bit rate is capped at 1 megabit per second. The infrared brightness is also reduced to 50%. And with no operation, the camera will revert to a sleep mode when there is no activity. Smart events are also reduced, but with all these reductions, the positive effect is that the camera can run for a further 2.5 days extra with no extra charge. So with no light at all, you get that extra 2.5 days. Next up are the sleep settings: low power sleep and scheduled sleep. Low power sleep mode means that when the battery gets to a set threshold, for example 20%, then the camera will go into sleep mode and only wake up on request. You can also set a scheduled sleep timer up if needed. For example, if you want the camera on during the night and not the day, you can set this up here. Again, all these settings are in the web page of the camera. So what's happening when the camera is in sleep mode? In low power sleep mode, the camera is not recording or receiving any VCAs. All video capture will stop. The camera will, however, remain in 4G listening mode. This means that the camera will wake up on command from the web page, from Hikconnect or from Hikcentral. Similar to how PCs can wake on LAN, the camera can be woken by a user remotely. However, in scheduled sleep mode, the camera can be used to take a snapshot every other 30 minutes, a kind of time lapse, if you like. Here's a brief video showing the power consumption of the camera in a 24-hour period. Please note that the camera is in pretty good conditions. It's summertime with full consumption mode on, and the IR is switched off at night. As you can see, there's about 7% battery used over one evening, and then as soon as day breaks, the battery is being charged, and by around 9 AM, you can see that the battery is back up to 100%. So around 3 hours to charge the 7% battery. I'll play it again as I'm aware that Zoom is not amazing for sharing videos. Again, we can see that overnight we use about 7% of the battery, and then at 6 AM we're back up to 93%, and then 7, 8, 9 AM we're already charged back up to 100%. So smart power display. This means that we have 3 different ways to notify the user of the amount of power left on the device. You can see the battery amount left by the percentage on the on-screen display of the live view of the camera, if you're using an NVR or monitoring the live image. You can see the battery amount left. In Hikconnect, you can get a battery icon to display the amount. And in Hikcentral, the integration here allows us to see the battery status in the alarm center. Also, the Hikconnect and Hikcentral support low battery alarms. So when the battery reaches a certain threshold, then the alarm can be sent to Hikconnect and Hikcentral. So Still regarding the power management of the camera, we now get to talk about the weather. A clear question is, how long will my battery take to charge? To answer this, we have a table. We have here a chart from the official UK PV resources. This is an environmental monitoring company who monitor photovoltaics, which is the measurement of light into voltage, and also my big word of the day. The chart shows the average daily sunlight per hours per day in different months since July 2002. The chart shows us that in the winter, there is about 1.9 average usable hours of sunlight, whereas in the summer, there's nearly 7 hours of usable sunlight. With this in mind, we can do a little bit of maths. We know that the camera uses around 1.76 watts in full consumption mode. This means that the camera will need about 18 hours charge time to go from 0 to 1000%. Based on the data from the PV Resource Centre, in the summertime, with 6.8 hours, you would need 3 days to charge from empty to full. And in the winter, around 6 days to charge from empty to full. Now we'll have a look at how the 4G works with the solution. The camera has a 4G SIM module, which means that you can insert a 4G SIM card into the camera. Just like adding a SIM card to a mobile phone, the camera has a hidden antenna, the same as any other mobile device. You just purchase a 4G data SIM card from any retailer with data prepaid on it. Once you're set up the 4G network, the 4G network will issue the device an IP address, which you can then look up on your device of choice, be it Hikconnect or Hikcentral. In terms of compatibility, at the head office in Stockley Park, we have been using EE and Vodafone SIM cards. Coverage is good and the network is stable. Again, treat it the same as you would your own mobile phone. For Vodafone, O2 and 3 networks, the APN or network settings are different per provider. So these need to be taken into account when configuring the device. This is also the case with the usernames and password and verification settings. Although the device is a 4G SIM, if coverage is not great, then the camera will revert to a 3G signal or a 2G signal, or failing that all the way back to GSM if needed, all through the same 4G SIM. Key to point out perhaps that those username, passwords and MTU information is all provided via the network provider. These are just the information that we need to fill into the web page to get it going. But I think Michael will run through that in the live demonstration after. As you can see here from this snap of the web configuration page, you add the detail provided by the SIM supplier here in the web config page, and setup is literally done. Leave the other settings as default and save. The web page will revert back to the wireless dial-up status, and it should hopefully then show you the connection is live. Again, following my presentation, my colleague Michael Dye will provide a short technical demonstration of the Solar 4G camera showing this particular configuration. So the next part, believe it or not, is about software and solution. We'll have a look at the back-end solutions that we can use to monitor this 4G solar solution. The Solar 4G camera solution, once up and running, will communicate with the network provider's internet. So for example, if you use Vodafone, you will use the Vodafone internet infrastructure. This in turn connects to and notifies Hikconnect, Hikcentral Professional, and some surveillance centers. The surveillance center notifications are currently only via email. As to play the live video footage, 4G is needed, and this would be quite a strain on the data package. Both Hikconnect and Hikcentral Professional are supported. Hikconnect baseline firmware, which is the one that you can get from the App Store, supports the 4G cameras. With Hikconnect, you can live view and playback, wake up the device manually, and receive alarm notifications. Hike Central gives you the ability to live view and playback, wake up manually, receive alarm notifications. It has picture storage and will even do some remote configuration of the camera. Hike Central is currently only available in a customized version of 1.7, but it should be baseline very soon. The one thing to remember here is that you cannot have both the Hikconnect and the Hike Central. Because of the way that each system is using a different protocol, the camera can only work with one or the other for now. Here we have a live demonstration of Hikconnect and the Solar 4G solution. So at Stockley Park, we have the camera installed. But as the weather has been fairly grey over the festive period, the battery is very low. So we had the device in sleep mode. When live view is clicked, the camera will wake up. Once it does, you'll be able to see the live view of the camera. And in the top corner, you'll get the battery status for the device. So that one's on 14%, just before Christmas. We'll have a review of the product and the applications now. To recap on the product, number one, the solar panel, 40-watt solar panel with built-in rechargeable battery that can supply up to 7 days power in cloudy conditions if the camera is set to low consumption mode. Number two, the camera is a 2 megapixels, 30 images per second with either a 2.8, 4 or an 8mm lens and a 30-meter IR. Built-in 25 gigabytes of storage with SD card expandable up to 256 gigabytes. An IP67 protection, wind resistance up to a level 12 hurricane. And number five, smart power management. The camera talks to the battery and provides charge information helping to power save on cloudy days or low battery percentage. And number six, including the solar cells, battery and camera and all of the mounting equipment needed to install the camera. This is a complete solution almost in the box. The main box will ship with the camera, the bracket and the solar panel. Again, there is a 2.8 and a 4 and an 8mm lens option. The battery is 10.8 volts, 19 amps, and the battery is shipped separately, which I'll mention again in just a second. Some of the applications that we see as a good fit: national parks, where there's no connectivity or cabling; motorways, where cabling and housings are very expensive to maintain and not always viable; all the kinds of applications that are remote based that cannot rely on power and comms. Next, we have a video showing the unboxing of the solar device and the camera. So the camera and bracket are shipped in the same box. In this instance, the battery is in the box. But to us in the UK, the battery will be shipped separately due to shipping laws. Good little video. The first step is to connect the battery and the solar panel, then connect the charging cable for the battery. You plug in the SIM card and the SD card, attach the device to your pole with the Jubilee clamps, and then connect the power, fix the whole unit to the pole mount. Couldn't really talk over that one because of the music, but it's a very, very simple process. Another consideration is the solar panel angle. I'm sure you've noticed that solar panels next to the motorways all face the same way and point in a similar direction. This is so they can absorb the most sunlight effectively. This differs between the winter and the summer by about 30 degrees. Another consideration and is the battery. The batteries, when they're shipped into the UK, need to be kept at a lower charge rate than 30%.